And welcome into Eye on Agriculture. I'm Britton Rucker. A familiar promise renewed in the heart of corn country. During a stop in Iowa Tuesday, former President Donald Trump. Welcome into Eye on Agriculture. I'm Britton Rucker. A familiar promise renewed in the heart of corn country. During a stop in Iowa Tuesday, President Donald Trump reiterated his support for year-round E15, telling supporters he expects Congress to send him a bill very shortly and promising to sign it without delay. The comments come just days after E15 provisions were left out of a House spending package, frustrating farmers and biofuel groups. Ethanol advocates were quick to respond, with Iowa and national renewable fuel groups calling year-round E15 a major win for farmers, consumers, and rural economies, urging Congress to act fast. With the return of bitter cold weather, Kansas cattle ranchers are keeping a close eye on their herds. And with the price of cattle on the rise, they tell us they can't risk losing any livestock. Brady Bowman visited a cattle operation north of Garden Plain to find out how they're keeping their herds and their businesses safe.
Standard count. Make sure they're all here.
Garrett Robinson is a fifth-generation rancher just north of Garden Plain in Sedgwick County. He oversees 220 head of cattle, and when it comes to the snow and extreme cold, he says cattle handle it better than we do.
The hardest part about the cold snap, is the wind chills down in the negatives, is machinery and any warm-blooded animals, cattle, me especially.
Garrett says the key concern for ranchers during the cold is calving and making sure calves born during freezing weather survive.
Cattle are actually pretty resilient. They can be born in negative temperatures. Mom will lick off the calf. That'll get it stimulated. It'll get up and get that first drink right away. And if that happens, they can stay with mom. They can bed down and stay warm. But if that doesn't happen, you can tell the difference in the calf's demeanor. And if they're not up on all fours in less than an hour, they got to go inside.
Garrett says at that point it's important to give the calf warm colostrum, another word for first milk. It provides newborn calves crucial antibodies, energy, and nutrients for immune protection and survival.
During calving season, we're out every 2 or 3 hours. So if we go to sleep at 11, we're out at 2 o'clock and also at 4 o'clock. And hopefully we don't see anything happen at that time, but that can be a long night if you have to pull a calf or get one warmed up in the middle of the night. But during the day we feed a couple times a day, so we check them then and then in between.
Even then, sometimes the cold will leave its mark.
During the coldest freeze last year, we had a couple calves. They did all right, but the tips of their ears froze off because they were wet. So there's a lot of situations like that. We got to bring them in, keep them warm.
Garrett says the cost of property and these animals are going up every day, but it's about more than money when caring for his herd.
I do want them to make it all the way to the sale barn or to a family's plate every time. Their health is more important to me than what they're worth at the sale barn.
And just ahead, I sit down to speak with a K-State vet about the do's and don'ts during calving season and finally figure out what is the best way to warm up a cold calf. Who owns the land may matter more than what you grow in 2026. New projections from FarmDoc shows farmers who own land, especially with little or no debt, are far better positioned for the year ahead than those who rent. The analysis finds cash rented farmland is expected to lose about $15 per acre in 2026, while debt-free owned land could generate more than $200 an acre in income. In fact, FarmDoc estimates one debt-free owned acre can offset losses on 15 rented acres. Most Illinois grain farms rent about 3/4 of their land, meaning incomes may stay positive but still fall short of covering family living costs without off-farm income. Researchers say land ownership improves resilience, but rising land prices and financing costs remain major barriers for farmers. Still to come on Eye on Agriculture, a program that allowed inmates to care for and train wild horses coming to an end. Hear what's to come for the horses in that program. Welcome back into Eye on Agriculture. I'm Britton Rucker. This week brought dangerously cold temperatures, and with the threat of more cold ahead, many producers are in the middle of calving or preparing to calve for months ahead. At K-State's Dr. AJ Tarpoff explains how producers can reduce calf loss and spot the cold stress early. AJ, when temperatures drop to dangerous levels like we've seen, what are the biggest risk factors that lead to calf death loss during the winter storm?
So to me, the two biggest factors that play a huge role is wind and moisture. Not always the wind and the moisture in the air, but how is the calf feeling? Do we have drafts? Have we been able to dry off that newborn calf? Or has the calf, been exposed to moisture from the environment? So wind and moisture are our two biggest negative factors that we have to control.
Now, what are the most important steps producers can take in the first 24 to even 48 hours when it is dangerously cold outside to protect newborn and young calves?
These animals they're robust. They're made to be born in the environment, but we have to give them a leg up. We have to be able to provide some protection when they need it most. And that's really allowing that mama cow to be able to access a comfortable area so that newborn calf gets off to a good start. So someplace that's dry, that's comfortable, has a thermal barrier, but also out of the wind. The best that we can provide that comfortable location, mama cow will find it. We just need to give her the opportunity.
What is the best practice to warm up a calf? I've seen on social media people putting calves in, hot bathtubs or even just a towel. What is your go-to?
So really the go-to is what you have available. It can be as simple as putting the calf in the floorboard heater of the pickup, turning on the defrost, and finishing driving around having your chores. That warm blowing air will help dry the calf as well as thermally try to warm it up. That can be a huge potential. If you are going to have kind of a hot box area in your garage, your shop, the kickoff area of your house, making sure that you have, if you're going to use a heat lamp and warm blankets, they work great. It takes time. Make sure you use a spark-free or a spark-resistant heater. We don't need a barn fire on top of already cold issues.
Yeah.
So yes, those work. We can also do warm water immersion. We can have them in the bathtub. It takes time. You have to continually add warmer and warmer water. All of those can be very effective, but to properly warm a calf, be prepared for the labor. It can take an hour and a half to 2 hours just to properly warm that calf. Even with some of the commercial hot boxes where it blows and circulates warm, dry air. So all of them work. Be prepared for the long haul. Take your time. If you bring a calf in the house, make sure you disinfect and clean everything that calf came into contact with. We don't want anybody in the household to get sick.
Do you have a favorite out of those methods that you just listed?
Honestly, the old floorboard heater of the pickup does wonders if you give it time. You catch the calf early, you put it in the pickup. I like to fold over a piece of cardboard so I can keep it and kind of circulate it in the passenger side of the pickup. Does wonders, but you can still go and do your chores, and it's amazing when you catch them early, put them in the pickup, drive around, all of a sudden 45 minutes or an hour later, they're ready to go back out with mom.
Now, we covered a lot of ground with AJ, from what producers should consider during extreme cold to signs you need to look out for yourself for frostbite and hypothermia. You can watch our full 10-minute interview right now with AJ, now streaming under the Eye on Agriculture tab under all of your streaming devices. And speaking of calving, cattle producers across central Kansas are invited to the annual Cow-Calf School hosted by K-State Research and Extension later this month. The event takes place at Thursday, February 19th at the 4-H building in McPherson, with a steak dinner starting at 6 o'clock. Featured speakers, Dr. Daryl Peel, an OSU Extension Livestock Marketing Specialist. We've had him on the show multiple times here, and he will break down current cattle markets and what producers should be watching for this year. Dinner at $15. RSVPs due by February 13th. You can find more information and RSVP by going to our website and find the Eye on Agriculture section on our website and 12 News app. A program allowing inmates to train and care for wild horses at the Hutchinson Correctional Facility will come to an end next month. Now, a rescue organization out of Missouri is raising money to find those homes for the new horses. As Gabrielle Hernandez shows us, they'll be taking at least at least 2 weeks early. A program allowing inmates to train and care for wild horses at the Hutchinson Correctional Facility will come to an end next month. Now, a rescue organization out of Missouri is raising money to find new homes for those horses. Gabrielle Hernandez has a story.
This program is a testament to how powerful the horse-human connection is.
Over the past 25 years, there have been an estimated 750 inmates who helped with training wild horses through the Wild Horse program at Hutchinson Correctional Facility. But soon that will come to an end.
It's disappointment across the board. There are multiple prison programs, correctional facility programs across the country and across the West that have been extremely successful.
The goal of the program was to give inmates skills to reintegrate into life after incarceration and to make horses more suitable for adoption. But Sumi Chang says due to federal cuts, these wild horse programs are being shut down across the nation.
It is a real loss to see these programs shutting down. And this is not the first. And it will not be the last if things continue the way they're going.
It's why she and her team at American Mustang Project will be headed to Kansas to take in 2 of the horses. And she hopes many others will do the same.
We would like to get at least 4, but right now we have funds for 2. So we will be picking those up on Friday. We hope to be back to be able to pick up more, but we hope that this story is an inspiration.